Here we go, folks. Picks and ban time. We have Cloud9, Epsilon Esports. Cloud9 up 1-0, as I stated before, and they are going to ban out Thor.
So taking it away immediately.
No Bellona, no Xing 10 ban yet?
I expect those are coming. Actually, no, Cloud9, right? They have first pick, so they can leave both open and then get that priority right after.
Exactly. They're leaning towards that strategy. They want to leave both of them open, get a really solid, dominant matchup for Baskin. And because of the Thor ban, it leads me to believe that andinster just wants to take that away from adapting. He's kind of be leaning a little bit towards something else. Maybe he'll pick up the Mercury here.
I think also this Thor ban is indicative of that they don't want to first pick Thor, but they also know Epsilon will be so useful with it. And I like this. They want the solo laner. They want Xing or Bellona right here immediately, and they know that that Thor and Giannis, one of them will be gone if Epsilon is left open right after that.
Okay, we have Epsilon in their next ban, QE. What do you think they're going to do? Because they could be scratching their head right now thinking they were expecting certain bans to come through and didn't happen.
I'm not sure what they will ban here. Okay, Zhangqi.
There you go. Zhangqi. So Zhangqi is going to go for that second ban on the Epsilon side. And Toli?
So this leaves Xing Chen open right off the bat. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there's no hesitation.
It's highlighted. It's going to get locked in, guaranteed for Baskin. It's going to be the best dominant solo laner coming into team fights in the mid game. He's going to struggle a little bit early on. I'm sure Epsilon's going to pick up a warrior to try to take advantage of Xing Chen's early weaknesses, maybe invade their blue buff as a result a little bit and try to snowball that. But Xing Chen mid to late game, you just can't deny his presence.
I think Serket and Humbatz are going to be the junglers this week. I feel like andinster's going to lean more towards a Serket style, something that can put out a lot of pressure in the mid game and take a trip over to the solo lane. And I like this Khepri. That's kind of what I expected. You can't allow JeffHindla and Cloud9 to have Khepri and Xing 10 here. Just too tanky, too much front line.
That'd be tough. That'd be a tough one to overcome for sure. All right, Neith getting locked in here.
I can see a Zeus pick with Nathan right now. Because having Neith on your team,
good call. There you go. Good call. So Zeus is going to be locked in here for C9. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so Zeus provided a lot of damage there for Yammyn last game. I think that C9 wanted to take this away from their option. Now, Zeus last game compared to this game, if Epsilon had picked up Zeus, you have the Khepri to be able to peel for him. So that was a great pickup there with Isis being highlighted of another very good defensive god, which can peel for itself with a circle of protection.
We saw Epsilon last game play a very offensive style of game, and these three picks scream defense. I think they're going to be looking for a lot of 4v4 and 5v5 team fights pretty early. I expect heavy rotations.
I like the Isis pick, especially because the circle of protection gives you protections and the your ulti, so it makes Zeus a little bit worse.
Okay, and Serket is going to get banned here. What do you think about that one, Adonis?
I like the Serket ban. That's actually something I would have expected andinster to play in this situation, especially against an Isis. It's very strong at gank here in the mid game. You could basically combo her down before she drops her circle of protection. And also, you know, 100% anti-healing, which means the Isis, even if she drops it, won't be able to heal off her ult.
I like the Karma, especially because Epsilon already have Khepri, and giving Karma and Khepri, you won't win lane at all.
Speaking of anti-healing, this is not really Cloud9 style, but Odin is open here, and Odin would kind of decimate Khepri and the Isis, so...
But who plays it?
Yeah, andinster doesn't really play. It's not his style, but you never know what they've been practicing behind closed doors, so...
That's true. I remember in the summer they actually brought out Zeus back when Zeus was bad.
Isn't that funny how that works? Back when this was bad.
Hey, but it's
then
good
it
now.
gets, you know, it assists in 4 kills in a row. Yeah.
Remember when I picked Zeus at Worlds and got wrecked by Atrax?
Yeah, you actually got wrecked by a...
Titan.
You ran the Zeus Odin lane.
Yeah, I got first blooded at mid camps.
Feels oh so bad, man.
You look proud of you, like, yeah, I got first blooded mid camps, but I was at Worlds to get first blooded.
Zeppelin wasn't, so...
Shots that Zap up there. I like this get pick to protect the Zeus. It's another front line for Jeff, and it just fits his style.
And the last pick is going to be the Humbatz. So that is going to be the God lineup for Cloud9. Who's going to be the final one here for Epsilon? Let's see. Freya.
This is emiltoo special. He really loves this god, and it could snowball as it gets later, but it's going to be hard for him to, you know, get on the targets he needs, although it does do very well at picking Geb early on. I picked Epsilon to win this matchup, but I like C9's draft again.
All right, well, boys, that's going to do it for the draft. Let's make the predictions. Go.
Yeah, Cloud9's draft is way better this game.
All right. Okay, well, you already know where I'm going. Bart made it abundantly clear before. C9. So we will see, will that be the case? Will Cloud9 be able to extend their lead to 2-0, or will Epsilon Esports answer back? Let's find out. Make some noise as we toss it back to the casters.
Thank you very much, Alex. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for game number 2 of Cloud9 versus Epsilon. This is a best-of-5 competition. And already up a game are the boys in blue from North America. A game that they probably should not have won.
This is, I think, also their 5th loss ever, right, on the side of Epsilon since we started Split 3, which is a really impressive record. They're not out just yet. They need 3 games to win. Cloud9 only needing 2, and I think they got the better draft here.
Yeah, and I like the way C9 banned this game. They had a throwaway ban as first pick. You usually have a throwaway ban. They targeted adapting. They wanted to remain as uncomfortable as possible. He didn't look too comfortable on the Mercury. They said, don't give him his comfort pick in Thor, and let's play it from there.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and move on into the game. This is game number 2, starting off. Cloud9 looking to go up to match point and move on to the finals for an all North American finals. Epsilon looking to draw even at 1 apiece. Let's go ahead and introduce the squads one more time. They're the blue team fighting out of the bottom side of the minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. They're up 1-0 in this best of 5. It's Cloud9. Baskin Robin in the solo lane as Xing, andinster in the jungle as Hunbots. MLC Stealth is your mid lane Zeus. And that's JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa combining for the Geb Neith duo lane. Their opponents for the second time in the red trunks at the top side of the minimap and the right side of your spectator UI. They are the nearly undefeated European squad, Epsilon. Dimi is your solo lane Bellona. Adapting in the jungle is Naja. Yammyn in the mid lane as Isis. And iRaffer plus emiltoo going to the duo lane as Khepri and Freya.
So when I see the Naja pick, this is not something that I usually get too excited about. Even though he has been buffed in recent memory, it's not something that really screams to me. But in the hands of adapting, I think that might change. I mean, he requires such ridiculous mechanics. One of the reasons the character fell out of the meta for so long is because to hit the ultimate, you must guarantee it by hitting the sash. I think that adapting might be able to hit these raw ultimates he needs to keep himself safe.
Yeah, and if you look at C9's history, they have the biggest loss rate against Naja. Naja's the one
All right,
god.
Zap, we get it.
You know, we played actually as Eager, we played the Naja Isis combo to beat C9 in 2 games.
They forced the ban.
Yeah.
They forced the ban, which is very unexpected. But, you know, C9 is a team that is known to ban things when it's trouble. They will go for respect bans over meta bans. Last year at Worlds, they won by taking Ymir Ares out. If this becomes a problem, expect to see it taken away.
Yeah, actually, the biggest X factor for me is this Freya pick. They saw that BaRRaCCuDDa wasn't too, didn't really want to fight too much in lane. He wanted to sit in lane farm, use his ultimate to make pressure on the other side of the map. So what they did is they picked a hyper carry that they know they can get to late game.
Yeah,
so far, clear is definitely belonging to the blue side.
You know, very, very capable of shredding through really any kind of frontline presence. And maybe most notably the Xing. I mean, he's going to have to itemize into some magical defense, or he will get blown up by the Freya later on. It's not really a question of if, it is certainly when. And now, well, in the first minute, it does look like we're going to be off to a pretty even start. Epsilon up just a couple hundred gold through that opening gamut. Experience, however, up to 1,000 there.
How did that happen?
They must have gotten both mid camps.
No, mid camps definitely went to
blue. Okay, they were split.
Yeah.
This Epsilon, getting a little bit ahead on the farm game. All of the buffs are picked up. A back camp was credited to Epsilon over Cloud9, but a little bit better use of that Bumba's mask on Naja.
Miscommunication there, as it looks like Andy goes for the invade and Stealth doesn't. He calls him back. Left side, BaRRaCCuDDa took damage.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus is just very risky to put yourself in the enemy jungle, especially early with no boots. You saw Yammyn last game get jumped on, and if you don't have great position with Zeus, you will die.
Not to mention, I mean, the Spirit Ball setup from Naja with the Sash is very difficult to contend with as a Zeus. I mean, sure, once you have your ultimate, you can fight 2 people in a choke, but probably not before that.
Adapting Yammyn should be pretty close to 5. It's a possibility they'll hit it this wave. Left side, more damage coming through as emiltoo keeps the pressure on. Pulse on cooldown, though. BaRRaCCuDDa looks to turn it around.
Look at Epsilon. They're already sitting at level 4 with still 3 minions in the lane here. They are pulling ahead a bit in experience, and well, we can be pretty certain then that it is in the dual lane where they're making up most of that.
Look at this. There's a possibility here. They walked over a ward. Adapting's got to be a little bit quicker. Doesn't get it.
Oh, yeah, backflips the ring. The ring, if it hits there, will bounce between them pretty well, and it would have been a pretty risky and difficult kill to pick up, but still nonetheless.
Yeah, there was really no kill potential for adapting there, but what he did is he alleviated the pressure for the Freya. They really want to help this Freya get out of the laning phase, so it's really important rotation by adapting there.
Top right camps are going to be coming up on the backside on the side of red. This is extra experience for adapting and Yammyn right now, both of whom should be hitting level 5 very quickly. Adapting just getting in there as well.
Look at the positioning from the Zeus here. They're going to actually make a play over to the left side. JeffHindla looking to expose emiltoo out there, and well, the rest of the team following suit. But going to the back camp, so you just mentioned, Brandon, are Yammyn and adapting, and they will continue to pull ahead little by little with their ever so slightly better rotations.
BaRRaCCuDDa strangely giving this wave up. I thought we were going to see a Spirit Hour go right through and him go for the clear, push the Freya back. Zap, what happened there?
This is just the case of emiltoo and iRaffer being level 5. BaRRaCCuDDa and JeffHindla, they still had another wave to go, so they didn't want to take the risk.
Mid lane, again, a grouping. We see actually a back from MLC Stealth and Andy. Andy on boots 2 right now, same thing for Stealth. Not a ton of damage.
Yeah, the reason why they backed is they want to hit as much power spike, min-max their power spike for this next mid-Harpy fight.
God bless.
Mid-Harpy's going to be coming up here in just about 15 seconds. Once again, going to be heavily contended. Let's check in briefly with the solo in here as it's Xing versus Bellona. This matchup does favor Bellona through about the first 6-7 levels. Baskin seeming to keep pace pretty nicely here on the Xing.
Things will start to trade in his favor. His clear is very safe, has a ton of sustainability, as does Bellona. I think really their end game is about the same. There's a bit more CC on the side of Baskin, which he usually prefers, but Dimi likes to fight. I think they each got the god they wanted.
Yeah, I really don't like how Epsilon didn't go for those mid-Harpies there. They should have known that Stealth and Andy were on the right side Harpies, and they should have gotten the left for free.
So it's going to be, yeah, I mean, Cloud9 takes them away easily. JeffHindla getting into level 6. Stealth already level 7, now highest in the game, tied with Dimi.
Naja on the right side here is going to find Xing as the blue buff will come back up, but it doesn't look like Epsilon wants to aggress too heavily into Baskin.
It seems to me that Epsilon's a little shaken from their last game.
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of these plays are free, and they're not taking it because they're a little intimidated.
Well, I mean, that's like, you know, when you get 4 kills at the beginning of the game and go on to lose that game, I mean, I would tilt off into a different part of the universe probably. So, I mean, I think that's what it comes down to from Epsilon is can they, you know, have the presence of mind and kind of the experience to kind of take that deep breath and win this game. I mean, there's not a lot of downtime in between the games here on the main stage, so these guys have had to get right back into it. Another pick and ban. You heard the analysts say they think that Cloud9 got the better of the draft yet again. Epsilon playing, well, from ahead for the moment, but no longer as that buff does go down. Cloud9 now ahead about 80 gold.
A strange rotation. I've been watching this mini-map. Freya going towards the red buff, waiting there for about 6-7 seconds. Doesn't even wind up starting it. She now rotates over. No jungle camps gained, so a little bit of lost farm time. BaRRaCCuDDa maintains his level 7 as well while staying in lane.
Yeah, and one good thing for Epsilon this game is the Freya has not been pressured at all this game. She's getting away with a free laning phase, and soon she'll be working on her Fatalis.
Look at the cooldown boots picked up by Cloud9 here. 3 of them across the board, basically every mage picking them up. This indicates to me that they are looking to team fight and to basically death ball, similar to what we saw Epsilon do in the mid game in game number 1.
Why? Oh, they're going super hard. Andy used his blink pretty early. iRaffer should be able to get out of this. He's going to use his ult. He's going to wait on his abduct as well. Let's see if he can get away from this. First blood goes to Yammyn in the meantime.
Yeah, Yammyn and adapting actually combined for a kill there. The Naja ultimate was used. A follow-up from the Spirit Ball as well does confirm that kill. Still on the backside is andinster, still looking for iRaffer, but is now going to get poked out by Yammyn pretty heavily and forced into the jungle of Epsilon in a sticky situation here as the Hunbots. Remember, he only has the leap up. Overhead smash still coming up cooldown. He'll have all his cooldowns available in just a moment. Uses his beads, still gets stashed. And now we'll leap away from the Spirit Ball. Follow-up from Dimi, not on the mark. And andinster throws out the Howling Monkey and bounces right to it.
The ring toss might have hit him there. It looks like he's going to back off, though. Andy winds up staying safe throughout that. A slight miscalculation from Dimi and a perfect teleport. It's going to be JeffHindla, though, who pays the price for his rotation.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier, Brandon, that the raw setup from adapting may be the difference maker here if he can hit those ultimates. MLC Stealth, how did he take so much damage from Dimi? There was emiltoo with the pulses on the backside, and now Baskin is overextended. He can't deal with the Freya magic damage coming out. He doesn't have another pulse, but it doesn't matter. Adapting gets credited for the kill of the ring toss.
So impressed with emiltoo. He's been doing this all tournament. He's making these kind of rotations that you normally don't see from a weak laner like Freya, and because of that rotation, they got 3 kills.
Well, let's go to gold in hand here. We see a decent amount of gold going the way of adapting. He actually gets back to the base, right as I call it. God bless.
But yeah, the graphs don't indicate very much here. About 500 gold going in favor of Epsilon. Just a couple hundred experience for Cloud9.
It's going to be heavy mace. He actually had the mace, so he had about 1,000 gold going back. Not too bad. Very close to the Jotuns. Obviously going to be his first pickup.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why you don't see too many early rotations from the Hunters or the solo laners in the early game, because the wave means more than the kills.
There's going to be about 500 damage here on andinster as he lands. Neith ultimate going to come in to stop adapting for now, and the Stone Shield will keep andinster alive, but just barely. Hunbot's going to lose some farm time now as adapting expends his ultimate.
Once again, Andy has to go back to the base too. I mean, doesn't have a lot of gold in hand. He's not going to get too much out of this. He's still sitting on mace. Doesn't look like he'll have the heavy. So this is going to be a good opportunity for lane pressure or gold fury pressure. Adapting going to go into the jungle, continue farming.
1,000 gold in hand, 1,100 now, in fact, onto the Freya, getting closer and closer to that Fatalis. Pen boots already completed. And does Freya have a Hand of the Gods?
No, come on.
Am I crazy?
No.
That is.
That's a Hand of the Gods.
No.
Surely that's a misclick.
Come on.
Surely that's a misclick.
Emilito's got it. Oh my God.
It's Hand of the Gods. So early Gold Fury, it has to be, right? I mean, that's the only thing that he can really do here. I mean, he can soul down his own purple buff versus the Neith secure, but...
All right, so Zap, tell us about the Hunter Hand of the Gods build.
It's new to me, but I think there is a couple of reasons for this. One, Freya is known to get invaded on. You saw C9 try to make a lot of rotations towards the enemy purple buff, so what Emilito did, said, hey, I'm going to get Hand of the Gods, secure my purple buff, and secure my early game.
Speaking of invades, he got that.
Yeah, it also maybe gives us a little bit of an understanding. Brandon, earlier you were saying, why is the Freya going and just standing at the red buff? It must be to use that Hand of the Gods.
Yeah, I guess so.
It also explains how Epsilon got that early experience advantage. I mean, we just completely missed that. I mean, it's certainly off of the Hand of the Gods, being able to take camps even faster.
Yeah, on top of that, one more reason for the Hand of the Gods is when you have a mage in the Hunter role, you really have no great person to tank the Gold Fury, so they might want to be able to just do it as fast as they can and burst it with the Hand of the Gods.
Ultimately, could come into a fist as well to help deal with things like andinster getting up into his face, but it's really only Andy that's going to be that melee threat.
I mean, Fist of the Gods is a very underrated item. I mean, it's a stun, right? I mean, stuns are really valuable in a tank meta. CC is really, really important. And being able to follow it up onto a Hunbot, so you burn the beads and then be able to banish out of it, it's really strong.
It's a great way to kite away from those tanky solo laners that come at you in the mid game.
That's right, but I mean, the big downside of Fist of the Gods is that it is a pretty short duration stun and you incur full diminishing returns for the next follow-up. So,
that's true.
Banish going to be pretty important. And I was trying to get into this earlier.
Emilito standing still right. He was like, wait, I took Hand of the Gods?
Yeah, he's listening to us. But one thing I did want to point out earlier that was getting into was, you were saying that maybe Adapting's ability to hit these raw ultimates
what is this?
On the side of Epsilon could be the difference maker in this game. What I do want to point out, though, is that there's that banish from Emilito for that setup. So he's going to have the opportunity to find these ultimates off of other characters' abilities.
Whoa.
Adapting, going to take Hunbots up into the sky. There's a Zeus ultimate and an Isis ultimate as he falls down, and Yammyn will get credited for that kill on andinster. BaRRaCCuDDa ever so low, channeling his ultimate, just going to try to do something before he heads back to the base, and that something is continue farming. He's a brave gentleman.
Amazing patience by Adapting. What andinster did there was he blinked in through his monkey bounce, popped his beads right away because he expected 9 out of 10 players on Naja would have ultied right away to avoid the Hunbot's ult.
Right.
But Adapting showed great presence of mind, patience, waited for the beats to be done, secured the kill.
And yeah, Andy didn't even get the ult off at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no CC coming out of Hunbots whatsoever. He got caught like a sitting duck. Speaking of which, Emilito maybe not in a great spot. BaRRaCCuDDa going to try to combo for this one. Is it going to be enough? One more attack. JeffHindla gets a kill.
Barely enough. It takes one Geb in hand, a hot 33 damage coming through from the Geb there to secure that one.
Maybe that hog was baiting the Freya there. She thought she could steal the purple buff, and she paid the price.
Yeah,
Jeff rolling out here, adapting in a weird position. Andy going kind of all in here. JeffHindla keeping it safe.
andinster seems like he's trying to really force plays with his Hunbots.
MLC Stealth rotating back in, won't miss any creeps for this one. Epsilon, though, up 3 kills. It doesn't feel like it, but only 1,000 gold. This is about where the farm should dictate they are ahead. I mean, usually we see 3 kills with Epsilon equal 3, 4, 5,000 gold, but it's only 1,000.
And the biggest thing I've been noticing with andinster, he's trying to make a lot of these plays by himself. But MLC Stealth is almost nowhere to be found. And you saw in the early game, andinster wanted to go for the invade. Stealth didn't. So it seems like they may not be on the same page right now.
Stealth having 2 deaths to his credit here early on in this game of a similar start to the last one, but a very dissimilar start to what we normally see out of Cloud9.
Emilito finally back to lane with the purple buff. Picked up a level of beads, not quite enough to get those Fatalis, or that final Fatalis online now. Zap, if you had enough to finish the Fatalis but needed beads, would you take the beads or would you go for the damage?
I would
that man, he'd get the
go
damage.
for the Fatalis. Yeah, I mean, Fatalis is such a crucial item on Freya. It not only does it give her the kill potential, also gives her, more importantly, the kiting potential, and she really needs that online to be safe.
BaRRa continues to pressure this lane. emiltoo pretty much by himself here as we see Khepri in the jungle. Decent shot. No follow-up from Jeff. Decent damage, though. emiltoo takes a good 70%.
And a great build order by BaRRaCCuDDa. A lot of hunters sometimes go into the soul leader right away, but what he did was he went for the damage, knowing that he can easily pressure this Freya.
We're gonna see double stacking?
No.
Come on.
No, no way.
No, no chance.
No chance.
Speaking of no chance, Andy, no! What? Was that a crit?
No, it was the burst coming out of the Zeus ultimate as well.
Yammyn.
Baskin's going to toss back Yammyn over the top. Will come Dimi. Bonus protections out. The Khepri ultimate used onto Isis as well. Yammyn continuing to try to do damage, knowing that he is alive for the moment. It doesn't matter, though. Baskin will pick it up on the extended engagement. Here comes the rotation from BaRRaCCuDDa, pinning 2 in place. Baskin going to find another, but Dimi just too tanky, it looks like, here on the Bellona. Plus that bludgeon doing a ton of damage to JeffHindla.
Such a strange fight all around. Adapting and Yammyn wind up falling. Khepri ult not getting utilized effectively. A little bit too soon from iRaffer. Very uncharacteristic for his gameplay.
This does make a lot of room, however, for the Freya. As Yammyn was explaining there, right? I mean, like, they really need to get this Freya up and running, get her damage items going.
Let's take a look at that one more time. We got to watch how Andy even got out of that. It didn't look to me like he was going to get out of that one alive, and instead he winds up getting a kill.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no, exactly. What happened? That's the danger of nausea. If you don't kill someone with the ult, there's a lot of turnaround potential that could be done on you. And Humbot's ultied and killed the nausea.
Trying for the invade, max range, looking for damage. Very smart on the patience, but Andy as well. Ring bounce doing a lot of damage. Adapting goes for the raw, misses out of position. Andy's going to jump away as well. Baskin going for it. Good ages, but not good enough. Baskin getting the kill.
Baskin dives the tower, no problem for Xing Tian, and here comes JeffHindla as well. They can continue diving if they want, but Dimi just so resilient. Probably not. I mean, it would just take them so long. The time investment maybe not even worth it.
The most impressive thing for me right now is how patient these players are. On the big stage, playing for a lot, they show so much patience. Baskin waited for the Aegis, hit it on the right time, and got the kill.
See, my favorite was the sash comes out, and then andinster, he's thinking, maybe I should go for it, maybe I shouldn't. I have my beads active. He doesn't beads. Adapting thinks that there's going to be beads, so he doesn't ult, and then they both wind up missing.
Big staring contest.
Zach, and tell me a little bit about the Freya versus Neith matchup overall. Is that something that you maybe, is it 6-4 Freya? How does it normally match up between even players?
In the early game, Neith has the advantage of her high scaling. So what happens is the job of the Neith is to pressure out the Freya as much as possible. But once the Freya gets to the late game or mid game finishes the mono grip, she can all in the Neith, and Neith has to be careful.
And then, of course, that swings back when the executioner is done by Neith for a little while, and until ultimately Freya's late game just takes over and destroys everything with her Spear of the Magus, BaRRaCCuDDa combination.
You mean Fist of the Gods, Valkyrie's Discretion combination, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Obsidian Shard. There's a couple ways to take the Freya late. But here's the Intel instant replay of how andinster made it out of this one alive. Adapting, going to put out about 600 damage, and the Isis ultimate. It's the Geb shield.
2 crits in a row? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he just crits twice in a row, and then will blink back in, I think, at the very end of this one, because he's a madman.
So wait, did Andy have crit on at that point?
No. He fired overhand smash in hand, and then threw the monkey and in-handed again right away to get
so that was
crits
2 30% chances back to back for that kill. All right, Andy, with the dice rolls.
To be fair, Nausea was probably dead anyway, right?
Yeah, but I think Andy probably should have died too.
Well, it was the Geb Stone Shield. That's what we didn't see in the first playthrough, was that JeffHindla's Stone Shield is what actually absorbed nearly all of the Isis ultimate there, and that was what really allowed andinster to continue moving around in this fight.
Jeff.
Jeff's going to roll out. He's going to have the angle on emiltoo. Banish going to be off the mark, and Jeff going to be called off by BaRRaCCuDDa.
Those minions are very scary. Sometimes you just got to take him out of the fight. Andy, looking at Yammyn here, is going to find himself a iRaffer as well. He's going in the wrong direction, but a good bait. MLC stealth with decent damage onto iRaffer. Takes about a third of his health. Oh, he's still going.
Yeah, they have the Neith ultimate coming in as well. iRaffer in a lot of trouble. The Humbot's ultimate off the mark, though, going to push him back into the tower. Adapting Sash off the mark as well. And, I mean, it's got to be really, really challenging to play a Naja into something like a Xing Tian that just doesn't care.
Baskin's going to notice that Rising Dawn. He's going to see him. He could probably jump in just a few seconds. Needs 2. He's going to go for the back line.
It's up.
Bait, and
Raffer's
there it is.
Yeah, Raffer's waiting to, Baskin just wants to force the ultimate here. Now he's going to go into Yammyn. He's going to full commit here. Oh my God, Epsilon! Baited and outplayed. Baskin gets taken down by the combination of Yammyn and iRaffer.
Oh, we just saw the flaming spear go off. They're going to go all in here. emiltoo in a bad spot, but the ring tearing through. emiltoo going to find a double kill there, and he gets turned on as well. Deicide!
Wow, the timing of that sash. Actually, Humbot's overhand smash did not connect because the sash stunned him.
You guys should have seen Bart just hands up in the air. There's how? Hey, hand of the gods, making sure they secure it right there. That's why they pick it up.
You know what that really comes down to, and this is just like, it got to make Cloud9 so frustrated. That was Khepri passive, I think. That really was the big difference maker there. I mean, you're talking about probably 300 HP that was spread out across the entire team, and everyone gets so low in that engagement, but nobody falls on the side of Epsilon. Really a tremendous set of plays.
That 2 to 4% per player actually wound up come up huge, I think, but it all started with that huge bait in the back line onto Baskin. I mean, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew what they could do, but Epsilon performed exactly what they needed perfectly.
I'm hitting F6 if I'm Baskin, right? I mean, like, that's like...
No, he was probably gonna. He's like, wait, I'm Xing 10. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's fine. But I mean, like, that just goes to show you, and I think that small victory there ends up being probably huge for Epsilon in terms of morale, right? To get that kind of individual outplay on you know, the really, really resilient and very disruptive solo laner that Baskin has been, helping them get their heads back into this one, I think.
Yeah, more importantly, it's keeping MLC stealth down. He carried that last game. In this game, he's 0-4.
Yeah, wow. Very, very strange to see MLC with such a negative slash line. emiltoo tearing through right now. Look at this, JeffHindla, perfect use of Cataclysm. Might not get out of this one, though. Few ultimates used, but I'm sure they're happy with it.
There's only so much you can do as a tank against Freya. She is really a specialist.
Wait.
Targets BaRRaCCuDDa in a lot of trouble now. Do they have the follow-up is the question. The Zeus ultimate has been used. Stun follow-up is on the mark and adapting with the brilliant positioning against BaRRaCCuDDa. Will cut off his escape path and find the kill. Credited to Yammyn, however. emiltoo going to walk down MLC stealth as well. And it seems that Epsilon has found the answer to Cloud9 in the form of Fatalis Freya.
They're going to continue moving forward here. Baskin teleporting in, not in a great spot. We'll be able to jump away, but we're pretty sure
he can't. No. Adapting has the angle, and there's another follow-up as well. A Spirit Ball's here. If they need it, indeed they will. Baskin goes for the ultimate over the top of the Eagles rally. Is the Bellona as well. Can they finish the drill against Baskin? Robin, indeed they can. Yammyn, the star player of Epsilon in this tournament, finds yet another big play.
It's going to be a tier 2 for Epsilon. Their lead continues to extend. It's now going to go over almost 7,000 gold in the lead at the 19-minute mark.
Yeah, this Freya is reaching her late game potential really fast. And not only do they have to kill Freya once, they have to kill her twice because of Khepri ult.
Look at this, 7,700 damage out of that fight from Epsilon. Incredible. And he's going to get a tier 1 here, but obviously nowhere near the level of gold and experience that Epsilon gained. We're looking at Yammyn, 2 kills of the 4, putting up 2,200 damage.
Right, and these are the smart plays that C9 does. They take the gold where they can get it. andinster knew that fight was lost. He got the tier 1 tower and a small victory.
There's Yammyn there on the bottom right of your screen, looking very focused, 6-2-4 right now. An amazing slash line. Most impressive to me, though, is going to be the 0-0-6 from iRaffer. A perfect support score. Amazing Khepri ult so far. Great control. Has saved Yammyn twice now. It's just really good play.
This has really been the tournament of the mid laners. I mean, we've really seen, when you think about the keys to victory, it's been supports and mid laners this whole tournament. Yeah. It's a combination of Chaos and Pain to Beyond. It's a combination of iRaffer and Yammyn, and it's a combination of MLC, Stealth, and JeffHindla. Really all around, every team that's in the top 3 right now, these are the 2 players that are really making the difference.
emiltoo keeping major pressure over on the left side. JeffHindla is going to start rotating over here. It seems like he's been spotted. Board on the bottom side will keep him safe.
I mean, look at Yammyn's KDA, 6.8 to the 3 of MLC Stealth. Granted, MLC Stealth does play frontliners. He played a lot of Zhong Kui, a lot of sacrificial Zhong Kui throughout the season, but still, I mean, Yammyn, his Giannis was, I mean, miraculous through the first 7 weeks. I mean, I think that he was banned out Giannis 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I think something like that.
And then didn't play it until Worlds.
Yeah, I don't know why Yammyn. We talked so much about his Giannis, and we talked about last season with his Ra. I mean, every single god we see this guy play has been top notch.
Yeah, I mean, Yammyn's god pool is actually pretty unpredictable. Sometimes I've seen him bring Medusa into the mid lane, Chiron into the mid lane, and each time he's won.
That Medusa at regionals blew me away.
It's impressive.
Well, just filing in now are the minions down the mid lane. Forced to push this out is Cloud9. They don't have a lot of map control now with their tier 1 and tier 2 tower down in the mid lane, and Epsilon's really gutted the center here. A big rotation out to the right side from Epsilon as emiltoo, the real carry, has made his way over here. This does indicate the aggression's coming.
Yeah, right now both teams are just looking for the picks. There's nothing really going on around the map. Both teams looking for the picks to try to guarantee the Gold Fury that's coming up any second now.
Yeah, we got 20 seconds. We're probably going to see a shift from the solo lane over to the duo. emiltoo, I'm not sure why he's all the way over here. It looks like they've done a lane swap. Bellona's over and left.
Yeah, the thing is, the Xing 10 can really poke out the Bellona with his max CDR, and Bellona just wants to
Dimi's
have the
level
free
19.
farm. Yeah.
Like, when did he become level 19?
No idea.
Well, I mean, there's the Freya's ability to really fight the Xing 10, right? He's built into physical defense, and so this, I don't think it's really truly a lane swap. I think emiltoo just found himself over there for some reason.
Baskin out of position here. He's not going to get stunned. Just barely gets into his ultimate. Throws one back. He's on the defensive. He's trying to get out. It looks like Epsilon will wash it out. They're going to aim towards the Gold Fury.
Split push coming out from Cloud9 over here. Starting to move back is the Neith and the Hun bots. They really just want to force Epsilon into an awkward position. And yeah, they're going to concede the Gold Fury in exchange for just some pressure down the left side.
And this is the big way to counter the split push. You want to just group up S5, try to power play into towers or objectives like the Gold Fury. Great plays by Epsilon.
Yeah, right there, it looked like BaRRaCCuDDa and andinster knew, like, there's nothing we could do here but back. The team can't help us. We'll lose a 2v5. We have to back and concede another big objective.
Right, and the big difference between this game and last game is the Giannis. If they were still split pushing on left, they might have gone for that tier 2 and ultied out and been safe.
Through space and time, going to help bail them out.
Cloud9 much farther behind than they were in game number 1. The North American crowd has become much more silent this game as the European powerhouses continue to extend their lead.
Yeah, no USA chance so far at 23 minutes through this one. 15-5 in favor of Epsilon. Sitting on a 9,000 gold lead and a 12,000 experience lead. Cloud9 really with their backs to the wall in a second game in a row.
Top damage, though, still belonging to Baskin. Of course, you know, Xing 10. Gotta love that percentage damage, ticking constantly.
Yeah, well, I expect Epsilon here to group up now and try to pressure the right side of the map. The next big objective on the map is the Fire Giant.
Yeah, tier 1 on the right side will really help in, you know, preventing people from porting in there and quickly rallying to the Fire Giant, forcing them into wards and, well, into Teleport 3, which, of course, they already will have in the solo lane at this point in the game.
MLC Stealth taking a very similar build, it seems, to what Yammyn did last time going into that Warlock stash. Yammyn kind of taking a page out of MLC's book, going into a lot of damage, although not full CDR. We do have pen boots, but it looks like the Rod of Tahuti will be next.
Yeah, C9 is actually going to have a big problem dealing with this Bellona split push. Epsilon is smart. They say Bellona cannot be 1v1 by anyone on their team, so let him split push or let her split push while we try to get picks on the other side of the map.
iRaffer, after a little bit of that DM Brandon praise. 4th item. Mail of renewal.
Yeah, always. Forever and ever and ever. Keep yourself alive. I mean, a character who can resurrect now can heal himself as well while it's going off. I'm in there, man. I'm in there. Oh, adapting way off the mark here. BaRRaCCuDDa getting some split push at tier 1, though. Already
No, he's getting pushed.
Oh, he's getting pushed.
Dimi's just kind of having his way with the enemy hunter here. Cloud9. They have BaRRaCCuDDa isolated here, but, you know, porting it at any time is going to be this Bellona. Frostbound Hammer going to be a big problem for the Neith as well.
They're trying to fight into this. I think they're going to bait back here. No, emiltoo with a full retreat. Baskin Robbins trying to fight his way into the jungle. andinster going over towards the mid lane, and it looks like Dimi's going to try to join them. No, going back towards BaRRaCCuDDa. They continue the pressure.
Yeah, and the biggest problem for C9 right now is they have no major damage to really one-shot anyone on Epsilon. The Zeus is just too far behind right now.
Oh, Andy winding, still getting slowed as he jumps over the wall. The ring follows him. Going into an invade. Very, very risky here.
Yeah, wants to take this red buff, but Bellona's going to be able to at least sniff him out if she wants to. Now, Dimi's just perfectly happy to keep Bellona from split pushing. And with this aggression down on the left side of the map and noticing the andinster's taking buffs.
This is a bait.
Look at
oh my god, they're
Epsilon.
so baited.
No, Epsilon's taking Fire Giant, no problem.
That's what I'm saying, they're so baited.
And Epsilon takes an easy Fire Giant there. We said it was the mind games last game from Cloud9 that was a difference maker. This time it's Epsilon.
So what we'll see here, Epsilon's going to take a 50-second break. They're going to backspin some gold, maybe do a little bit of pressure over on the left side.
Or
wait
maybe
for
just
Dimi
go
to get back
force
up.
a team fight here on the left side. They're going to be able to close the distance onto Baskin Robin. He's going to go for the ultimate, tossing them back away from himself. Spirit Ball going to force him to take a detour. However, the silence and slow coming out. Baskin going to try to do what he can, but adapting will disrupt the route. He's going to put out another 500 damage or so. The clutch coming out, the crits coming through, and over the top of the sash toss. Adapting credited with a kill.
CC chains abducts on top of sashes, on top of spirit balls, out of the Nasha ult. I mean, that's what you want to see. They've already taken out Baskin. They can now push safely into towers.
This is exactly why Epsilon had the Bellona split pushing. They knew not just one person from C9 could deal with it. C9 has had multiple people over there, and without the Giannis ult, they couldn't get to the Fire Giant.
I mean, it just comes down really to me for decision making from andinster there. He was spotted out and goes for the buff, and the second he commits to it, they just started Fire Giant and took it easily.
Left side tier 1 falls. They're going to go right into the tier 2. Too many people from Cloud9 in the mid lane.
Yeah, Cloud9's going to look for the split push yet again here in this situation. In fact, they're just going to move all the way to the right side where Hunbots is pushed into the tier 2, but they can't do much. You're going to try for a kill on a Khepri, maybe?
iRaffer's just going to sit here and just be the worst person in the world to them. He's not going to allow them to back safely. You can see this is way too late. This Phoenix is guaranteed, and he gets almost nothing over in the right side.
No.
Huge win for Epsilon, poised to take game 2.
You can tell that Epsilon has talked about it after game 1. How do we deal with the split push from C9? They have their Bellona here rotating to handle andinster, and they have their other support, Khepri, dealing with the mid lane split push.
Well, there's two big ways, right, to deal with split push. And you have to have both of them. You have to make the right call is the first thing, and then you have to commit to it fully, right? If you don't fully commit to an anti-split push strategy, like, well, let's just continue on, force them at the base, like we saw Epsilon do here, maybe in game 1, they start backing, going, oh, we don't want to lose a tier 1 and a tier 2 on the right side. Instead, they get a Phoenix early on in this game.
Exactly. If you don't deal with the split push properly, you end up wasting a lot of time, and Epsilon did not want to waste their Fire Giant.
So back into the base. Yeah, Rod of Tahuti came up. A full Titan's Bane as well for adapting. Dimi's working on yet another defensive item. Spirit Robe plus the Mail of Renewal online for Khepri. I would assume last item is going to be Winged Wand here.
Oh, adapting finds a kill on the andinster. He pops his beads 3 to get another set of cooldowns, and down will go the Hunbots, trying to be that pesky split pusher.
Yeah, andinster here going for a little bit of a greedy build. A lot of junglers would get a defensive item by this point, but he went pure damage, adapting, able to one-shot him.
Well, I think what he's been doing in these team fights has been really interesting. If you watch, I mean, adapting joins them basically right at the very end, and he always seems to try to disrupt either the overhead smash or the knock-up combination out of Baskin. And he's been pretty successful with that at stopping the CC from coming out in those delayed CCs out of Cloud9.
Right side tier 2 getting pressured. No backdoor protections removed. They're just going to continue going into it. It looks like Nasha's clearly got enough damage. Another 1,500.
Flaming Spear Naja takes down towers absurdly fast.
Especially at level 20, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, as you recall from when this character was released, that was really the primary thing that it was picked for, was objective killing. And now after some adjustments, it's become a little bit less profitable, but even when you're at 5 items, it's easy.
BaRRaCCuDDa's backflip is down. He's trying to support from the backline with as much as he can. Actually, iRaffer taking a lot of damage. Spirit Ball for max range deals a fair amount of damage to JeffHindla.
Epsilon needs to be very careful not to get split here. C9 still has a lot of pick potential with the Zeus Hunbots combination.
This feels like a Golden Bow game, maybe even. Like, Cloud9 is going to have to keep minions out of our base for a very long time. They need something that can really accelerate their ability to kill minions.
The Fire Giant buff will be done in about 20 seconds. They'll use the last end of it to ensure another big gold win. We'll go to gold in hand and show you how it's shaping up.
Yeah, Epsilon here, they're a huge lead, 16K experience, 14K gold, and Bellona with 3K gold in hand.
Yeah, and 2,300 as well in the Naja. There's going to be potentially a Malice out on the field very shortly.
That's 2,300 plus the sale, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, he goes, oh, wow, right into mid-Guardian Mail. This ensures that Hunbots does less damage, and we got an Ickfall coming out. I love this from Bellona.
Yeah, 2 mid-Guardian Mails now, Bellona and Naja, both the melee damage kind of frontline cores. They both love the mid-Guardian, now the Ickfall as well as Bellona to help deal with Neith.
Mid-Guardian Mail plus Frostbound Hammer is maximum reduction of attack speed through items. Shield to the Underworld will do Reflect and stop lifesteal, and Ickfall will strip away even more power. Zatman doesn't look happy about that build.
No, I'm not too sure how much I like the Ickfall. I would probably rather have seen maybe an Executioner.
Yeah, Executioner.
I think that Dimi probably just went, hey, I have 1,700 gold left. Actually, he had 1,900. He said, let me get as much of a power spike as I can because I'm probably not going to back to base again.
To me, I think it's
had
just
enough for Executioner, right?
I could
No, he
just
had
completely shut down BaRRaCCuDDa. Why not?
I thought he had 2,300. I guess he finished off. What else did he buy? He must have finished off the
Shield of the Underworld.
Oh, it was the Shield of the Underworld also.
Yeah.
Nah, he had
Okay,
3,000. He could have afforded both.
Yeah.
He could have.
I thought so as well.
Interesting buy.
I don't know. I like the Ickfall, man.
Well, Executioner does give you a little bit, faster damage against objectives, but he doesn't have another hunter to really steroid with it, and it's unlikely that he and Naja are hitting the same target. Nonetheless, Cloud9 knows they can't leave their base in this juncture. They push the left lane up as far as they dare, and they will concede the Fire Giant at 30 minutes and 40 seconds now, as Epsilon will move forward and look to break the base.
We got a lot of cooldown reduction right now on the side of Khepri. Slightly over cap at 5% is not a big deal. He has extra sustainability, a ton of aura for his team, and a lot of control. iRaffer is going to be very, very hard to get through and take down. Khepri available as well to keep adapting safe, and you know that's why it's there.
There was indeed the fist going to come out for Freya, and she's 5-slotted as well now with a Bancroft's talent to top it all off. Going to be very, very difficult to kill emiltoo.
damage coming through. JeffHindla forced to waste his Stone Shield on himself. He's going to have to try to get out of here and keep his team safe from the backline. Dimi trying to reset. Fire Giant still a long time. This siege can last for a very long time.
Remember, there's no sovereignty on the side of Epsilon either, so they don't have, you know, that anti-magic damage aura. And what I'm getting at here is their Khepri isn't necessarily the most resilient, and that's why you're going to see Bellona taking these Phoenixes and Towers more often than not.
Yeah, and the reason why it's taking them so long is they don't have any of that hunter damage.
That's a kill coming right down into the Ice Assault. Either way, adapting, gonna find BaRRA already taken down. JeffHindla stuck in between three, gonna get taken down as well. Out's gonna go to emiltoo. emiltoo's stealth gonna go down to Yammyn. Adapting basically in the fountain at this point will be sacrificed, but 2 Phoenixes still down. They're gonna turn to the mid.
Going to try to take out the last Phoenix here remaining on the board on the side of Epsilon. Cloud9 desperately trying to hold them out of the base. You saw that brilliant play by Dimi. Khepri ultimate, right into the well he goes.
And he goes in.
Easy back out. andinster feeling himself a little bit, going to try to go in here, but he will be walked down by emiltoo. The gumballs doing just enough, and the Titan starting to fall under 4,000 HP remaining. Only Baskin on the field, and indeed Epsilon will draw even at 1 game apiece.
So far, the God of Gods has not had a good showing. 2 games picked, 2 games lost, as the mid laners with more movement are able to control just a tad bit better. Epsilon finds, I think, the first tied game, or tied set of our tournaments.
Yeah, and I think MLC Stealth is going to need to find a more comfortable pick. He didn't look too comfortable on the Zeus. His positioning was really tough, to, you know, and Epsilon took advantage.
Yeah, it seems like all things told, these Zeus and Zhonghui, the Z mid laners, have had a pretty underwhelming performance. We've only really seen Chaos on enemy be super successful with Zhonghui, and Zeus a couple of shaky showings.
It didn't seem to me as well that Paradigm understood how to counter the Zeus similarly to how Eager did or how Cloud9 did. Oh, and I think that both these teams understand it, and that's why we're not seeing it too much. So far, the movement speed has been a big deal. Isis and Janus have been super strong.
Like you said, the Isis and plus coupled with the Shell is a big defense against those big AoE ults.
Well, pretty successful there in game number 2 is Epsilon. Good to see them get their composure back, and looks like this one's going to be going for a long time, guys. So grab a sandwich. We're going to toss it back over to the analysts as they break down game number 2. Golden Boy, take it away.
Thank you so much, Bart. Yes, indeed. What a matchup, man. I mean, this is awesome. And what was that? I heard someone say something. Oh, fix your pins, man. I just see it right there. Your pin. Fix it.
The raw.
The raw.
It's right there.
I think you're just trying to call attention to the kappa.
Oh,
Oh, call attention to
talking
my
about this
Kappa
bona fide-
pin?
Are you trying to
Oh.
bait Twitch chat?
No. Although, you know, hey, I mean, well, it's actually not that hard, right? But
Very
anyway, with that being said, we got to talk about this game. I mean, Epsilon, they are looking fantastic. You know, in that last game, this kind of was like Epsilon's thing, though, right? Like, it took a really big battle for C9 to come back into it in game 1. But this one, Epsilon started strong and just did not look back. Let's actually check out the first blood here. Adonis, why don't you break this down for us?
This is basically Epsilon picking on Zeus. Just like how Yammyn got dove in game 1, Zeus in game 2 had the same issues, right? The Naja was very good at setting up the Isis. We saw it consistently, right? Take Zeus to the sky, Ice Assault on the ground. The second he lands, he's just exploded. And that was kind of the story of that early game. Zeus was, I believe, 0-4 by 15 or 16 minutes, and he really struggled to recover.
You know what they needed, Dennis?
What do they need?
It has damage and it has escape. And it's a mage.
Agni?
Agni?
It's Agni.
Oh,
They need
come on.
Agni.
Think they should have went Agni over Zeus there?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You and your Agni.
He's never going to stop.
You're never going to let it go, right? That's just
Not
your...
at
Agni's like your best friend, right? Did Agni pay you to say that?
You did.
So, Anatoly, you know, thoughts in regard to that game? I mean, you know, MLC Stealth and the crew just not having a really good run as we actually take a look at some of the stats there. It really, you know, it was the Epsilon show, and they just, you know, they were the stars, and C9 were, you know, just along for the ride.
So the problem with that was C9, they kind of banned themselves out. They banned out the Thor and the Giannis, which was very successful for them game 1, giving a very obvious strategy of leaving both Xing and Bellona open. They got the Xing, which is the better of the 2 evils for Baskin, but unfortunately neither soul laner really took off in that game. So they needed some kind of a setup for the Zeus. They didn't have the Thor wall to set up the damage from the Zeus, and he was just kind of lackluster in terms of damage-wise.
Do you feel like it probably was like too much meta thinking? Like, you know, kind of like, you know, people kind of like think themselves out, right?
Yeah.
Like they they tricked themselves. Even though they were trying to trick their opponent, they end up tricking themselves. Do you guys think that that was the case?
It's a possibility. I actually really liked Cloud9's composition going into the game too, but once again, you know, it's just teams that have these earlier game compositions or these pick compositions and execute them. That's what Naja is, right? You're either one, trying to eliminate a single target in the late game because you just have that massive crit damage, or two, you're looking for pickoffs early, and that's what we saw a lot of, most notably Zeus, and then it started happening to Jeff more. And then, of course, Cloud9 is rotating and trying to help them, and they just start getting, you know, picked off one at a time. I think the most notable point of that is at the 16-minute mark, right? Where Baskin actually gets baited in a 2v1 versus Khepri and Isis, and loses. And because of that, we actually saw emiltoo be aggressive on the dual lane, and after they, the Isis and Khepri had won, they rotated in, and then they cut off the rotation from Zeus. So it's just one person gets picked off, and it's kind of a domino effect of Epsilon knows where and when to be aggressive, and then pick off the other players on rotation.
And after that point in time, it's when emiltoo's Freya just took off. Late game Freya is the most scariest thing in the world, so that's just emiltoo doing work there.
Do they have to ban out Freya, maybe, in the next round?
I think they could change maybe their ADC because they didn't really utilize their comp at maximum because they had Neith, Zeus, and Humbatz. So they were looking to get picks on Isis, and they couldn't. They didn't really get picks on Isis, and Zeus fell behind really badly. So I'd like to see maybe more late game ADC for BaRRaCCuDDa, maybe a Shibalenki or a Hui, and a more safe mid laner for Stealth.
That's something I've been really surprised about. You know, Neith has always been strong. She's always in these big tournaments, but never so exclusively, I would say, right? We're seeing Chiron as well, but very few ROMs, a Freya here or there, but we're not really seeing that often these late game hunters have success either.
Makes sense, makes sense. What do you think about that, Anatol?
Yeah, a lot of these late game hunters, we might see them later on as the set progresses. Both these teams like to adapt in the middle of the set, knowing C9, they usually take their best of fives into game number 5. So I wouldn't be surprised if this does go into a 5th game.
So you think this is going for the long haul? We're going to be here for a good... I mean, Bart was right. You know, you can get a sandwich. I mean, outside, I heard the food trucks are pretty good. So you can go out there and pick up a nice sandwich. You know, I think, you know, thinking about how this plays out, right? I could realistically see this go C9 Epsilon, C9, you know, Epsilon. Like, I can see them trading games, right? Because these guys have, you know, it's like they're, I don't want to say like they're figuring each other out, right? But it's kind of like one got comfortable with something, so now they're going to try and figure out, like, okay, they know we're going to get comfortable with this, so now we got to counter this. And it's just like back and forth and back and forth. I could realistically see that happening just because of the caliber of the two teams that we have here right now.
It's exactly that. And, you know, game one, the key component was Yammyn on his Zeus and mostly stealth on the Giannis, right? It was the Giannis was more utility-based, got a ton of damage off, and the Zeus just got dove. And then Cloud9 in game 2 said, all right, we're going to run Zeus. And then Epsilon said, look, we know exactly what you did against our Zeus, and that was shut him down repeatedly early and dive him in these team fights. And I guess they thought they could do it themselves, and they couldn't, you know. Shout-outs to adapting and Yammyn combining and making sure stealth couldn't get big in game 2.
Yeah, just like I mentioned earlier, it was the fact of the matter that they didn't have the protections that they needed in terms of keeping the Zeus alive, and they didn't have any kind of setup, so the Zeus was lackluster, and the fact that they banned themselves out was definitely not in their favor. The way adapting played so far in this set, he picked up Mercury. They took Thor away from him game 1. They banned Thor, and now he goes with the Naja, so he's picking like different guys. I don't believe we saw a Naja jungle this whole tournament. I know we saw Naja support in one of the games. I think it was a Chinese team that banned it. So definitely adapting his god player.
Oh man, you're on fire. Someone put you out because you're on point right now. This is awesome. All right, folks. While Anatoly there thinks of his next really bad dad joke, let's actually go ahead and tell you all about the cool things that you can get today here, not only at Smite World Championships, but just in general, right? You can go online and check it out as well. So our friends over at Bonafide are actually doing a sale. You do buy one, get one half off. You go to smite.clothing. Now again, I repeat, for those of you who think I'm speaking wizardry and madness, it is smite.clothing. That is the extension, .clothing. I can't even believe it.
It's BaRRaCCuDDa who speaks the wizardry and magic.
That's right, and he's not here right now. Oh, that's a good one.
See, I got you. I got you. I'll support you on that one.
You know, I wanted to draw the Thunderbolt.
You're gonna support Golden Boy just like you did back on RG, Adena? You're gonna support Golden Boy just like you did back on RG times, you know?
Oh, wow.
We're going back in time, boys.
Wow, what's going on here? Kiwi, where did that come from? You were the nice guy. You were the...
I spent too much time with you guys, so.
Yeah, you spend too much time with us and then you say mean things. And then, of course, folks, you can check out hitpoint.tv. Once again, you know, our friends at Hitpoint have an awesome sale for you, 10% off all Smite merch. You go to smite.hitpoint.tv. Make sure you use the promo code HPSWC. Now, without further ado, folks, you know, we're guaranteed a game 4. This one could very well go the distance. Will that be the case? We will find out. It is time for the picks and bans.